Hello friends. So today I want to talk about a quote I keep hearing in mainstream is pick your heart. If you don't know what I'm talking about, is basically it's used a lot in the weight loss community or in people that are gym goers, and they say like it's hard to stay the way you are, heavy, and it's also hard to go out and actually do weights and things like that. I've been both. So before I begin though, I want to introduce myself. My name is Jessica and I engage in conversations about weight loss, weight related disease education, and how to achieve weight loss in an affordable way that honors our way of living, because I think it's very important to do that. Once we honor the way we live, or once we get to where we are in a position to include things that are valuable in our lives into our weight loss journey, I think that's the second that we realize that we don't have to live a life that is hard. Because while the quote is very superficial in terms of, is it achievable, and is it reasonable to say that, or is it even kind? I think that having the perspective of someone that has been both, I think generally life, and when you're engaging in it in general, is hard. Even when you're heavy and you feel that you have no energy and things like that. I do want to point out a couple of things though in terms of exercise, and why I engage in saying that we really should be moving our bodies. It doesn't have to be weightlifting, it doesn't have to be hardcore, it doesn't have to be outrageous, for the sole reason that exercise brings not only some emotional regulation, because at the time when you're walking, you're doing something, you are engaging either socially or even just in your brain, where you're just decompressing and doing things that just make you at that time kind of regulate yourself. So because of that, I think it's very important to engage ourselves into that sort of activity. So I want to address the aspect of when I was heavy, and then maybe the aspect of right now what I'm struggling with, because again, both are hard, right? First, when I was 270 pounds, what used to happen was that I would definitely be uncomfortable in terms of me walking, me doing simple things. So for example, if I was at work and I would go to work and I would have my schedule or my things that I needed to do, if someone would say, hey, are you able to do this and that and the other, I could not cope. I couldn't cope with that premise. Why? Because as it is, it was hard to move my body. The excess weight would take a toll emotionally, where I couldn't cope with what was being asked, compared to now, where because I am able to sit in the uncomfortable. What does that mean? Well, when you are engaging even in walking, let's pretend that let's not even pretend. I was 270 pounds and I used to go to the gym every day in the morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. It was hard. It was hard showing up with other people, and I was visibly larger than most people there. A lot of the trainers later on, because I became friends with them, we used to say, well, I didn't even think that you would be doing half of what you did. And that is hard. But what that did is that it allowed me or helped me sit in uncomfortable situations where I could go to work and actually deal with it, because it conditioned me to deal with hard things. And I think that because as a society we find it hard to we want to be so comfortable that we can't even fathom saying to ourselves, okay, today I'm gonna try to get up and do things. And I do want to preface it by saying that, I think it is quite wonderful that you, me, everyone is trying to, as a collective, we're trying to all add to our lives, and that it seems almost biological and societal that we tend to add more, less walking, more convenience and things like that. But I think it is to the detriment of us. But going back to the subject at hand, which is choose your heart. Well, it's very hard to stay the way you are, because then you start getting all these health issues in terms of, even if you were the well patient, you still have a hard time trying to cope with the added weight, because it does take an emotional toll. It did for me. It was detrimental to the point that I couldn't. Going up the stairs was emotional, like it was emotionally horrible. So how do we mediate that? Is through training. I don't think that is kind of unreasonable for us to say, instead of exercising, train, right? Because we all, at the end of the day, can consider ourselves athletes and people that can engage in some sort of exercise. But both premises are hard, because at the end of the day, when you become more and more sedentary, it becomes more painful. Just as when you are training, and you guys have seen my journey in terms of the pains that I go through. Now, albeit, I have to admit that when you are training and when you have your muscles are sore, it feels different. It truly feels different than when you are heavy. When you're heavy, it's like living with a vest full of weight, and that can also include emotional. And it doesn't even have to be like the physical, but regardless, it just makes the weight of it, the weight of your body, the weight of your, the fact that you can't, carry on is different. Because now, for example, I can get up out of a chair or anything. I don't even think about it. I can fit. It's different. It just feels different. And I've never been in that position. And I would say that I think that is something to embrace and to welcome. And I am not suggesting we should do this the way that is being portrayed as a lose 10 pounds in 10 days. That is completely unreasonable. And I'm not even suggesting weight loss. I am suggesting fat loss and actually being, to a certain level of getting to the point where your function is not compromised. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this chat. It comes from the heart, and I think that choosing your heart, that includes being uncomfortable, but being in a position where you can move your body and choose exercise, needs to be the way to go. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week.